Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Cool Hand Luke from 1967, directed by Stuart Rosenberg. And yes, once again we are back to discuss another Paul Newman film on the channel, and one that I've been looking forward to seeing for many years, of course. So first of all, we'll say spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it and then come back to this video, and we can go from there. We can talk in the comments, and you can share your opinion on this film. So yes, with all that said, let's dig in. And yeah, a film that I've been looking forward to seeing for many years, and finally got around to seeing this a few weeks ago now. So yes, of course it was a request by the Clagger. So once again, thanks to Charlie for the request, and just of course I'll leave a link to his channel, Charlie's channel, in the description, and you can go to that, and it will take you to his channel. And of course, as we know, a music-related channel, great stuff, of course, and a friend of mine. So yes, check it out if you're interested. The Clagger, and once again, a great request as always. And yes, this film, I must say straight away, I love this film, and just a film that I'd been wondering what this would be like. I'd only really heard of the very famous one of the scenes in this film, of course, the egg scene where in the scenario, and knowing that was from Cool Hand Luke, trying to say he can eat 50 eggs, and all this stuff, and it does actually go down in the film, and that is just one of the best scenes, of course, in the film. But that's really all I knew about this film, and the cast, of course, George Kennedy, won an Oscar for this film for Best Supporting Actor, and of course Paul Newman was nominated, and it's quite a famous film, although I don't think it's as famous as I would have expected, actually, looking online and the actual how much people kind of talk about this film, really. But yes, we essentially have this prison film, and of course this character of Luke Jackson, he is sent to prison, this camp, of course, in the south, very early on. We have the kind of open sequence where he's kind of doing this stuff, and he's breaking the law here, and he's kind of kind of laughing about it though, and just kind of this very strange yet unique kind of open scene, and all unfolds from there. He is sent to this prison, is sentenced to 2 years, and he becomes involved in this chain gang, and essentially they're kind of put to work on the roads, clearing the roads and all this kind of stuff, and this camp, of course. We have the rules outlined as well, very early on, about going into the box and all this, and this solitary confinement, and it kind of unfolds from there. And initially we have these characters, kind of appearing quite hostile to him, and of course Dragline is kind of the leader of the gang, in the prison, and of course George Kennedy playing Dragline, and he truly is so great in this film. I must say, George Kennedy, is one of the things that made this film so special for me, and just his presence, and the way he kind of becomes an admirer of Luke, and essentially that's what it is. These characters, all kind of appear hostile to Luke at first, and gradually though, and fairly quickly actually, we have this bonding, and these characters in the end worshipping Luke, and kind of seeing him as a hero, and I guess for his his attitude, his resilience, the way he just doesn't break, his spirit, and he keeps going, and doesn't allow the kind of the establishment to overtake his soul. That's what it is, really. It's an anti-establishment film, and one that really kind of explores conformity, and especially non-conformity, and the way in which, for example, Luke does not kind of conform to these rules, this structure, and the abuse, really, of those in charge. They are abusing their power, and they are kind of in the end, of course, they do kill him, and shoot him down, and that was a planned act as well, and of course through his escape attempts, and of course it turns it from a 2-year sentence into his entire life taken, and it was such a sad film, this really is, and I think just it's a very tragic film, but it is at times these moments of hope, and I think just it is very uplifting, and just charming to see Paul Newman, the way he kind of plays this character, of Luke, and just the way in which we have moments of comedy throughout the film that kind of lighten the mood, and it is in the final act, though, I do think it's a bit too, kind of for my liking, a bit too hopeless in a particular way. Of course, in the end, his spirit is not broken, but he does die, and he constantly is treated so poorly, just kind of I think it was a bit too hopeless in the kind of the final act especially. But you know, until that, you know, I think from around the 15-minute mark, you know, 20-minute mark, yeah, I think it really is flat out masterful and one of the best films ever made, especially in this portion. And most of the film really, especially just the final act, that I think isn't quite up to the standard, you know, of the rest of the film, and isn't quite as satisfying, you know, for me as I would have hoped, you know, in particular ways. That's just my personal opinion. You know, I think for the most part, this film is stunning, and you know, just shows these characters kind of forming this organic, you know, friendship, especially Dragline and of course Luke, and you know, I really got so attached, you know, to this this kind of friendship here, and this this relationship, and you know, I think in the end, you know, it was all the more kind of sad, you know, to see Luke, you know, kind of passing there, and of course the characters, you know, I loved in the ending though the characters kind of talking about Luke, and you know, kind of I guess, you know, reminiscing, looking back on, you know, his kind of efforts, and you know, what he was like, and they're kind of talking on the roadside there, you know, the kind of it's a crossroads, and that is the kind of the final shot really, fading out, you know, and kind of zooming out, you know, from there, and you know, just of course we have the photograph as well of Luke, and that is kind of put back together there, and you know, it's just this wonderful way in which this this film ends, actually, that final scene, and you know, we have that montage as well, you know, of the characters talking over this, you know, seeing different moments of Luke, you know, him smiling, and all this. So it is, you know, in some ways, you know, a very uplifting ending, but it is just a bit too, in the final act, too much of a, you know, him going through this, and you know, being subjected to this stuff, and it's not really a film where it's satisfying in a particular way for me. But you know, I think overall this film, you know, it's stunning. You know, just the characters in this film, wow. You know, the acting, of course. Paul Newman and George Kennedy, you know, are both, you know, perfection in this film. You know, I think, of course, he was nominated, Paul Newman, and you know, it's certainly, you know, a film that I think he could easily have won, and you know, it would certainly be called, you know, a worthy Oscar win for Best Actor. You know, truly blew me away in this film, and you know, I think this is a film that, you know, once again, just like hard, you know, it creeps up on you, and you know, his performance, you know, just kind of, you know, builds and builds, and you know, explosive moments, of course, but one that starts off very, very subtle, and you know, I think that is the film as well. It's a very subtle film. You know, it's quite gritty as well. You know, and we have these wonderful shots outside, you know, and the sunset and stuff, and wonderful moments, you know, kind of beauty. But it is a very gritty film in the way it's shot, the editing as well. It's quite rough at times, and you know, as we have different fades, and you know, kind of poetic moments of editing, but it is very gritty as well, and you know, I love that, and I loved the music as well, which luckily has been you know, recognised over the years, and you know, I think just truly, you know, I think the script, you know, we have so many moments in this film that are so iconic, of course, and you know, we have just the standout scenes, you know, being, you know, the egg sequence, of course, Luke attempting to, and yes, pulling it off, you know, eating 50 eggs, and you know, wow, you know, this is just a very famous scene that I had heard about many times, you know, before, and I knew the whole kind of scenario really before seeing the film, and just seeing it in this film, you know, wow, what a sequence, and I think one of the highlights really of the film, and the boxing match as well, you know, that is kind of early on, and that's kind of the last moment when I think you know, Dragline especially kind of recognises you know, Luke, and sees something in him, and you know, kind of becomes you know, someone who respects him more, and you know, eventually, you know, they do become, you know, great friends, and you know, this bond, you know, I loved how, you know, it started off, you know, kind of there was friction, there was drama, and you know, it's this earned relationship, and you know, it really was so affecting, and you know, just in the final act, that's one of the things that kind of you know, I guess held the film together in the sense of, you know, I was so invested in this, and just kind of wanting to see, you know, really essentially these two characters make it out, and a moment, of course, when both of them are, you know, kind of on the run together, and of course, sadly, that doesn't happen, you know, Luke is killed, but you know, I think that moment when, you know, George Kennedy and Paul Newman, their characters are kind of talking to one another, and you can sense this this dread creeping in, and you know, just that moment where there is a bit of hope, and it's immediately kind of shut down. You know, I think I knew something was going to happen there, quite drastic, and yeah, of course it did, and Luke in the end is killed. But you know, we have until that, you know, the final act, we have these wonderful interactions, and you know, just I loved how it showed, the kind of the prison camp and outside the camp as well, and just we have a bit of backstory as well to Luke and his family as well, quite hopeless as well actually, in the way it's done, and it is it's a very human way in those which is it's dealt with, but it is once again very quite a rough film. This very kind of hard and raw film. This, and it's very tragic, this film, but I think full of humanity, and Paul Newman and George Kennedy especially bring this humanity to the characters and this story, and I think just once again this is wonderfully shot. The cinematography is just stunning, and it adds this atmosphere to the film, and just these characters all day working on this on these roads and stuff. It really is, it gets into that, it kind of shows all the sweat, and just how kind of intense this film is due to the cinematography, especially, and just so many different iconic moments in this film, and standout sequences that I was just so invested in, and just it kept topping itself really for a big portion of the middle of the film, and it's just such a masterful kind of chunk of the film, really, from the 10-15 minute mark to the final act. This is just really quite perfect, and I was blown away by this, and we have, of course, the very, very famous line, what we've got here, it's failure to communicate, and that is a very, very key line in the film. That is said, at one point, and is actually repeated by Paul Newman's character of Luke in the very ending scenes, and then he is shot, and I think the way that played out was just absolutely masterful, and that moment there in the final act was so great, and the way he brought that line back, and just the shock of seeing him getting shot there, it was kind of expected, yet it's one of those films that it did shock me nevertheless, and just the way it was done, and really brutal, that moment there, and just the way that he uses that line against them, and it's just one of the things that kind of showcase the way in which he doesn't conform, and he doesn't kind of give into this this abuse, and I guess this the establishment, and the way in which they treat these prisoners, just really despicable, the way they kind of do this, and of course the treatment of them, and I think again, once looking back to the way in which Paul Newman's character is sent into this kind of this prison camp, and obviously we know that he's a World War II veteran, and the way he's given 2 years, of course, but it does lead to his demise, and he is kind of taken in this camp, really, and they do win, but they don't win in that sense, and he does his spirit is kind of free in the end, and I think freedom is a big obviously theme of this film, as with most prison films, and I think the way this is done is stunning, and I think just again that whole kind of idea of spiritually his spirit is free, but physically they did break him, and kind of take his life. It's so sad to see this, but it is a film, as I say, that's got so many moments that I'm kind of thinking on that are so kind of happy, and kind of uplifting, and hopeful, but I think the final act just wasn't quite for my liking as good as the rest of the film, or as investing as as satisfying for me, but nevertheless throughout this film I absolutely loved it, and I think not a single act of this film or stretch was something that I didn't love in some way, and I think the way it's shot, the score, of course, the script of this film striking, and of course the performances by Paul Newman and George Kennedy, absolutely stunning, and I think this truly blew me away, this film, and I think it's quite close to being overall masterpiece, and it's certainly going to go on my favourite films list, and if someone hasn't seen this film and they're kind of skimming through, certainly check it out. You won't I don't think regret seeing this film, and just seeing what you think. For me, it is an unforgettable experience, and one that really will stay with me, and just a film that again it's very close to being a masterpiece, and I think nevertheless I absolutely loved it, and truly a great film, and one that I did love. Seeing this finally, and it's fine that I waited all this time, I guess, but I'll certainly be watching this film again as much as I can, and coming back to this one, and a real stunning film this, and yes, my final rating for this film for Cool Hand Luke is a 96%. So yes, stunning work, and it's a very high score from me, of course, and film that I truly loved, really from start to finish, and I think just so many kind of moments of comedy, and as drama as well. Seeing just how kind of they are treated in this film, especially Luke. It's quite a tragic film, this, and a very raw, brutal film, this. But it is one that kind of overall was an experience. It uplifted me, and seeing this classic film, it's so great to see. Classic cinema. There is a magic to it, as I say. There's just it's just it's just cinema, of course, and I love seeing Paul Newman films as well. Obviously I've got many more to see, and I look forward to seeing really all of his films at some point. And yes, Cool Hand Luke, certainly one of his most kind of acclaimed films, and I guess most loved films. It's not as talked about, as I say, as I would have thought. Really overall, but I think it's a film that many have seen and many do love, and I'm one of them as well. I truly love this film, and once again, a big thanks to the Clagger, Charlie, of course, for requesting this film, and finally I saw this film, and yes, I loved it. And once again, I'll leave a link to Charlie's channel in the description below, and you can click on that, and it will simply take you to his channel. So yes, let's wrap up, and once again, love this film. Can't wait to see different Paul Newman films, as many as I can see, and I think next, in that sense, one of the next ones will be The Sting. That's kind of one on my watch list that I haven't seen, and one that I've heard many things about as well, and Redford in that film. So yes, cannot wait for that, and different Paul Newman films, of course. What a legend, and truly this film is legendary. So yes, tell me your thoughts. It would be great to hear, and discuss this film and different Paul Newman films, and just cinema, of course, as always. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.